Make a start. Number one, apology.
Councillor Stanley, Zamani and Wilson not here. I don't think I've heard from Kenny Vaughan, but I shall check when I get back to the office.
Okay. Public participation session. I don't think there's anybody on the line.
Got fun with them.
Yeah.
That's at home.
Any declarations of interest? Anybody wishes to declare?
Good.
Why the chap thinks we shouldn't be declaring interest in us in the foundation.
So, individually, you don't have responsibility for it, so I can't see how that would be.
Okay.
Any requests for dispensations?
No.
Minutes?
Yeah.
See somebody propose that? Is it active? Damn it.
Brilliant. Seconded.
Seconded. I'll second it. Yeah. Right, accounts for payment to the amount of £50,000. News balance. Any comments, questions? You notice the payment for the boiler at the end, we might add to that. Have somebody to propose them,
Proposing
second one. Yeah. Budget report as of 30th of June. Right.
Of course, Annex 3 chair, not much to add to that, I don't think. It's the first quarter, so I can't get too excited just at the moment, but we are in a reasonably strong financial position as a town council. You have 450,000 still tucked away in the CCLA, but of course we'll have to draw some of that down before the second tranche of the precept lands in our account at the end of September.
Any questions? Any comments? We have to see the merits.
That's all.
the budget comprising and so on.
Yes, it's behind my report.
That's not separate, that's the same, not separate item.
No, it's definitely.
No, in that case, could I just ask a question? The income for Legion House, I think, seems to be very low. Don't think a lot less than 25% of the expected budget. Is that
That will depend on when the NHS pay their quarterly rent, David. I need to look at timings on that, and might be, I suspect that's what's behind it. It looks a bit out of skew because they may have not paid their rent yet, first quarter,
right? Makes
and
sense.
that will only be hirings as opposed to the chunk of it.
So catch up.
Yeah,
That's the only question.
Well, their payment would be more than 4,000, wouldn't it? So they'll can't pay that.
no, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yeah. Reports? Received and noted? Yes. Moving on. Annex 4, we have a application to the Community Development Fund from Ashford Pride, CIC, the sum of £250. This is in terms of a sponsorship for the Pride happening.
Yeah.
8th of August. I think that's right.
Sounds about right, Chair.
We've got all the necessary rules and documents and what have you. Comments on that?
We give them the grant, Chair.
Is that seconded?
Seconded, yeah.
Okay. That's approved. Yes. Okay, we good?
Application.
Who seconded? Was it Mr. Carl? Alison.
Alison.
Alison, thank you.
You seconded it.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fine.
It's in it now.
Right, moving on to room hire charges. Open from the deputy
Sugar.
and clerk, I think, yes. You want to say anything particularly?
No, I think it speaks for itself, Chair. I think we haven't increased or reviewed Legion House room hire charges for some years now, and I think it's long overdue. So thank you to Mel for taking the benchmarking work on this, and I recommend the report to the committee.
Any comments? Questions? Alison?
Yeah, I guess just the obvious one is in terms of the local room hire comparison. At £30 with a nearby venue charging £22.50, that's quite a difference, isn't it?
Where are we looking, sir?
Second paragraph, local room hire comparison.
Oh, yeah,
It says, £30 per hour with a nearby venue charging £22.50 per hour. And I just think if that's the sort of market comparison, then that makes it really not very favourable and value from money perspective. Unless I'm reading something, missing something.
rates vary depending on location from 8 to 30. We're, right,
Am I reading it wrong? To £30 per hour with
I
a
think so.
Well, it says-
Our proposed hourly rates are 12 to 27.
Oh no, proposed room one is council chambers.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Well, it depends on the size of the room.
Yeah, absolutely. As Mel says in the next sentence.
Yeah. I'm guessing the nearby venue charging £22.50. I'm guessing it's St Helens. I'm not sure. May well be.
I think maybe it's just the way it's written now, but it's because I just think that if you're looking at that on a comparative, £30 versus £22.50 doesn't make us look competitive when we're sort of community resource. Maybe it's the way it's written and there's a nuance in there that I'm missing. No, well,
Rates vary depending on location. But that's another location charging 30. Isn't it?
from £8 to £30 per hour.
Yeah, but that is other venues.
Not us.
Not others.
Yeah.
So there's another venue, hopefully not in Oxford, charging £30 per hour.
But it hasn't been
I don't-
said
But
that
all
way.
laws unless,
Yeah, I
I
know.
think it's just the way the paragraph has been
Yes,
written.
okay, I think you can clarify that in the minutes then, because I can see the hourly rates, but then. You see how I've misread that?
Yeah.
Because,
I don't, that's it.
well, because rates vary, okay, fair enough,
We're at the lower end now.
that's fine, yeah. I think I've misread that then,
But
I've
we,
misinterpreted it.
I mean, we still have, we have some capacity, but not huge capacity.
Okay,
But also. Are we okay to approve these?
Somebody move it. Thank you.
Is that seconded?
I'll second it, Chairman. Thank you, John.
I'll take that's agreed then.
yeah, I'll assume I've misunderstood it.
Yeah. Okay, right, Legion House boiler. Replacement.
Should have a cheer here, shouldn't
It's in and running, Chair.
we? Should have a cheer here, shouldn't we?
Well, it's going to be an official opening, actually. The mayor will, we're all going to go downstairs in a moment and for viewing, and then the mayor's going to have an official reception with sandwiches and beer.
So I don't know if you see it now.
Huh?
Are you serious?
No.
Well, we've actually got two boilers instead of one.
Oh, yeah.
Who's the price of one?
It's called VFM.
And of course, we haven't actually tested the heating yet. So
You can't be.
Not yet. No.
I want to get not getting a boy.
we know where he lives, so.
And as you can see, as you pointed out, Chair, that the invoices have been paid to the contractor.
Switch.
Just short of 18,000. And if it's-
Hello. You come for a specific item?
Oh, no, not quite. I actually missed a few before coming here, so I got the timetable as I've been here for this one. Is there any prior requirement to be here for today's?
No, not at all.
no.
Just didn't want to think that we'd missed a slot that you wanted to speak at.
Oh, I see. No, none whatsoever.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that's, okay, on the boiler? Any-
Yeah, no, it's good to get it done.
Question?
Sorted.
Yes, it's in and room.
Good. We'll accept that, report.
Turn it on.
Right, vital and viable project. Yes, Stuart.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Well, I'll put a report together that's in the pack. So you can see the progress. The only notable date that's going to be happening this weekend is the bike racks are going to be going into the fire park garden. So they are going to be installed this weekend.
Oh.
Well, that's an update further to my report.
Yeah, just want to clarify about the mural, Stuart.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, so this one's an interesting one, as it were. So originally I sort of approached Northwest Planning Department to discuss the mural. And I shared all my plans with one of the planning officers over at Northwest. And the advice was that it didn't need planning consent, but it might need listed building consent. So I did a pre-application that took longer than expected. And the result was that they did not support the application going forwards. For various reasons, that it was in too prominent a location. The proximity to the war memorial, they didn't think it was in keeping because of it being in the conservation area, and they asked me to choose a different location. Now the money's got to be spent by September, and that was one of the projects that was identified in the viable report. So to obviously achieve that within the town centre, most of the town centre is in the conservation area. And most of the buildings are listed buildings. So it leaves us with very little option of what we can do with that money. Now, I don't want to send this money back to central government. We want to get it spent. The only alternative is to possibly look at either the Ashby Library wall or the leisure centre wall that's behind the library, because neither of them are listed and they're red brick walls, and we could potentially do that, but it would be a case of sort of having to go through the whole process again. Now, this is only officers' recommendation that they don't support it. Now, whether the district councillors that sit on town council would or could put pressure on to get this through, I don't know. I don't know what the feeling in the room is on that one. The other alternative is that we just do a shop frontage scheme with the additional funding. So it's shop improvement, so improving signage and painting shop frontages, doing repairs, etc.
It would be a sort of match funded thing.
It would have to be a match funding, but bear in mind, regardless, I've still got a short time frame to deliver that project.
Which is what remind me, Stuart.
Well, final reporting has got to be in by the end of September. So regardless, I'm up against it.
Yeah.
So I think, in terms of councillors, seeing pressure on the planning committee, certainly I didn't do that with the planning committee, because I couldn't have a be dependent on that involved in the decision. Maybe the ward councillors for that area could do that. You'd have to approach them. I'm not sure. It's probably market
Maria.
amongst others, the councillors in Marling. So, but with regard to the shop front scheme, I actually think it's a good alternative, because I do think that we've got quite a lot of shop fronts that need to work. But my question is, and it's something I think that we've needed for quite a long time. The question is, do you think you can spend the money and the time for that sort of scheme? And do you actually have to have spent the money, or do you have to have allocated it or set up a fund to?
I think we've got to show intent that we're going to have spent the money. That they're willing to be flexible with us, but they've got to put reports into central government to say, you know, what's been achieved with this funding. So if we'd got the applications out there and we could show that, you know, there was interest from the businesses, then that would probably be enough to, you know, establish, because again, they would have to get contractors in, etc. So they couldn't necessarily sort of deliver those improvements quickly. But if there was an intention to I think that would be sufficient.
I think my view is that we ought to stop any more work on murals. So I just think it's going to be very time consuming, may end up not being successful. Certainly not go around challenging the conservation officer on what's saying. And a shopfront scheme would be very good. And I'm sure we can pick one up from another town that's got all the rules sorted. And
Well, Northwest used to run their own scheme, so we
don't have the schemes.
so I'm sure they would share that data with us.
if the 14,000 was passed to the BED or the town council to administer, then it's spent, isn't it? So
Yeah,
I think that seems like a much more sensible thing to do, to me. Worry about murals, because I mean the one by Malvern Memorial is always going to be difficult. There's always the risk of public opinion around that, but also when war have all sorts of things on it. There's going to be all sorts of problems with it.
just first of all, Castle Donington spent some of their money on shopfront work
Oh, yes.
recently, and still are doing some of, so it might be worth a conversation with them.
Mm.
And because you know that's something that they've been doing. I just wonder, in terms of, I agree that we've got to draw a line under this, and that we need to have a viable option. That's what I did there, find a viable option moving forward. But are there any risks in terms of what's already been done? Because I understood that we'd appointed someone, we've consulted with residents. Is there anything we need to do in terms of PR? Is there anything negative that's going to come back on us as a town council?
Well, we're going to have to go public
Yeah.
with this.
Yeah.
And the artist did a lot of work for us. You know, in sort of doing some tweets and stuff. They may well ask us for a fee if because if we're no longer going to go ahead with them. So we might incur a cost.
Okay, I assumed that there would be some type of cost because we've gone quite a long way down the road with them.
We have.
Is there anything that could be sold from the work that they're doing? So it's anything on a smaller scale that's required?
Well, yes, I mean, you could do anything internally.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to turn this wall into, you know, or for example, you know, in the library or leisure centre, you know.
Yeah, it'd be a shame for that work to be wasted.
Well, I think Stuart clearly needs to discuss with the artists. I mean, depends what the sort of contractual situation was. And, you know, it was going to take a lot of work, so that would be the bulk of the 14,000 to actually do the painting and what have you. Certainly, and part of that discussion would be the rights over the artwork.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
think it was the scale and the
So we
height
just
of the
need to
equipment, etc.
resolve that, but if we're paying a bit of money for it, then we have some rights. If we don't have to pay the money, expect we've got any rights to it, so.
Okay, so basically, if we need to pay some money contractually, then it's about us keeping the IP on it. If we can, and we might be able to use it in the future. So that at least we've got something for the money, and if not, then, but I agree, draw a line and start putting it in,
Yeah,
putting it in the town centre. Yeah.
Shop and bricks.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
is that an agreed, I'm really happy with that approach?
It's good.
Yes.
Well, it's 14,000. But there is going to be some underspend across the whole of the Vital and Vital project. So it means that I'll be have any underspend will be able to go into a shop frontage scheme. But I won't have that detail of the final figure until all the other projects are finalised and they've got their.
Okay, so it's proposed that we move towards a shop frontage scheme. Is that seconded? All agreed?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anything else on that report, Stuart?
Not from me, no, unless there's any questions on any of the other projects within it.
Yeah, comments? The only other one that didn't get off the ground was the post office, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all mail sorting office. So.
Yes.
That's which one.
Which we don't want to go down that route again.
Late delivery.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Stuart, for all the work you've put into Vital and Viable. I think it hasn't been always straightforward, shall we say, but hopefully we will spend, I think, 50,000
Yes.
like that to the benefit of Ashford, which will be good news. Okay, thank you. Shall we move on to Westchester District Council Legacy Grant Fund? Report from the town clerk.
Well, very quickly, Chair, as you know, the fund was officially launched last Thursday evening. And me and you logged in
Yeah,
to it. I'm busily wrestling with the District Council's website at the moment, trying to put expressions of interest in the capital fund for two projects. One is the new footpath across Park Road Field. The other one is the purchase of land adjacent to the rec ground in Blackerby. So those are the two projects we're taking forward at the moment. And there's a deadline of the 21st of August for expressions of interest for the capital fund. And then deadline, I think, of the 18th of September, off the top of my head, for applications to be made. So that's where we're at. No applications have been brought to me for the revenue fund. Now, I suppose the other thing I want to mention in the margins before any members ask, as far as I'm aware, there's been no progress on the playing fields, playgrounds legacy fund, or indeed the closed churchyards stroke cemeteries legacy fund. District Council. We're waiting to hear.
we'll come back to those two. Let's just concentrate on the main legacy. I think the other, depending on timing, the public realm items, there may be it may fit in quite well to do further work on some of those.
Sorry, lost it. Public realm.
The town
Oh,
centre,
from the master plan.
Yes.
Gillespie,
Oh, right.
we're hoping to get a quote for doing more detailed work.
Oh, yes.
Probably some of them, that may well be, but whether that meets the criteria and is it's not actually delivering anything, well, it is delivering something, but it's not physically on the ground. Or might not be considered to be a legacy, I don't know. But that's a possibility.
I would have thought it would be a revenue item, so it's certainly, reading it certainly includes working that project, doing the groundwork to,
Would that be classed as a revenue item?
maybe,
I would have thought it's covered, but whatever.
I think the fund isn't split into two. It's just that you can apply for either, like certain amounts of money for one and certain amounts of money. Yeah.
Different criteria.
Okay,
Okay, so we're progressing. Any other comments on that one?
no, just that it's good and we need to get as many as we can in. Stating the obvious.
You said we were going to come to the closed churchyard.
Oh, yes, I did, yes.
Is that on this,
That's not, that's not on the agenda item. Sorry, no, I just was
What's part of the legacy fund though?
I think.
all separate items.
Separate item. Now, let's take the playgrounds one. Knowing this was on the horizon, we have a number of costed improvements to the playground.
Yeah.
And when we receive the details of how that's going to work, to me, it's unclear. I don't know if any district councillors have any information on how that might work.
That's,
You'll be ready to pounce. I similarly with closed churchyards, I think we have a good idea of how much we're paying to maintain those, so we can just leave the rules really to come forward.
New finance director started last week, so I said that.
Okay,
Well, that's
Really fantastic.
fine. You want five
I understood, Chair, from the, having spoken to District Council, that they're waiting for a paper from Jason Knight on the playgrounds and waiting for a paper from Anna Crouch on the closed churchyard. Actually, shouldn't name them in the public, but there we are. But that's, I believe it's
So I'll try and find out where,
two offices.
I'll try and find out where they are with it.
I mean, that's something we can all do.
okay,
so just to be clear, they had published a, set of arrangements for the closed churchyards grants in. That was passed according to,
okay.
yeah,
Which corporate scrutiny.
corporate scrutiny in April. And it lays out what qualifies and what doesn't qualify, and it says under the application, process that you need to fill in an application. I don't know whether the application form has actually been produced yet, maybe that is actually what we're waiting for. There is a document that's a lengthy document about
I just thought I'd read that, I thought I read that.
I don't think it's been launched,
No,
not launched, but
Okay.
parish, relevant parish councils contacted, because they don't apply to everyone.
No,
Presumably they know ones that are maintaining churchyards.
I do.
They certainly do.
I'm expecting a briefing from, I know, it was tomorrow or the day after, so,
Okay. We are on that one? Yeah. We'll move on to events management, which is Stuart again. Anything you to say on your usual spreadsheet?
So we're right. So since last meeting, there's been quite a fair few events taking place in the town.
Yeah.
So we had the Mayor's Civic Dinner on the 9th of May. We had the TVA Twinning visit. And then the reception on the Saturday, the 6th of June. Volunteers evening, yes, which was very well attended again, wasn't it? Continues to go from strength to strength, that one. The Ashby Festival in the Park. The weather was on our side. I mean, whether we want to look at moving the date later in the calendar for next year, because it does get cold sort of quite early on. I know we reduced the hours that it finished, but again, we got a good attendance, but it's just a consideration whether the committee feel that we should move it in the future. Ashby Sports Fun Day took place on the 28th of June. It was a good event. I think there was a lack of sports clubs attending. If it wasn't for having the Leicestershire Strongest Man and Strongest Woman competition, which helped sort of bring a large group of people from all over the country came to take part in that part of the event. And that really sort of helped build the rest of the event around it. Again, it very well attended from the public's point of view, but we really need to sort of be pulling more of the sports clubs to that event.
I think, Chair, just on that, if I may, that I think we need to review the organisation of this Sport Fun Day for going forward for the future. There was less than a quarter of the clubs who were allegedly registered on the website for Ashby Sport who bothered to turn up. And I think throwing taxpayers' money at it, really need to be careful. I think that they're going to support and appreciate the day. If they're not, then I think we need to seriously consider whether it's value for money.
Did they turn up last year?
It's been well attended for the first couple of years, I think, sure.
Yeah, it seems to slide.
I think it's running out of steam. The impression I got a wee bit.
I mean, a lot of the clubs have got big waiting lists anyway.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
do they need to sort of gain more members is the thing, but it's about putting their name out there regardless and showcasing what they do.
and showing the diversity of what's on offer for.
Exactly.
Of course, you know,
I wonder if some sort of survey could be done of the clubs to get an indication. Why? Is it because their books are filled, or I mean, even just making it an event and not attempting to recruit people. Make it more of an event, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people could have a go.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some sports you can't, but, you know, people, degree of participation.
Yeah.
So it's just to another event.
Well, that's the other way of dealing with Woody, but I mean, as Stuart hinted, this Leicestershire Strongman brought about 200 people to the backgrounds. And I think if he's going to come back and do this an annual event, then I think my gut feeling is that we build the event around that. Then if the sports clubs choose not to turn up, it's not the end of the world. Because it seemed very popular, and
it is.
people had come from Sydney. I was talking to some people from St Neots in Cambridgeshire who travelled up just for this event. So I think if we can help Ash, this guy ran it, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Publicise it, promote it, build it into something significant for Leicestershire, and then I think it could be a runner for the town. And it seemed insanely popular. He produced proper T-shirts, the whole works. Didn't he?
It was very entertaining.
It was.
I think the only thing that was letting him down was the announcement.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
to get everybody
Yeah.
in the arena, sort of,
Yeah.
you know.
I think we
watching
need to
what they were
rethink it. We need to rethink it,
Yeah.
and if
That sound Rocco.
Yeah.
and make that the centre part of the day with the other sports around it, because certainly I was really surprised by how popular it. And he was so well organised, wasn't he?
It was so.
He had a proper podium, all the medals and proper trophies. It was really well done.
Very
Stuart said that
organised.
what let us down was the PA arrangements, because he was tucked away, wasn't he, really? And I think, anyway, you get the general idea. I think we need to just rethink the
So
day.
we need to review that.
Yeah.
Just see whether.
I mean, if Ash wants to bring it back, and think we.
Well, he's already emailed
Has-
saying, can I have next year's date
Okay.
provisionally?
Alison, you're.
Okay, I'm gonna sound like a partial mover here. But if we're building it around that event, then surely if that club wants to hire, then what's the difference between? If everybody else wants to come and they hire the ground, for example, in the Ashby 2010, they hire the ground. This is an event for us to showcase the sports facilities in Ashby. If we're suddenly making it about one event, then I don't see why we would pay for that, because surely that's about them hiring the backgrounds for their events. And I know that sounds a little, but we need to be very careful if we're saying, you know what, it was this, it's now turned into this, in this grade. But actually, if, I'm sure it is great, but we need to be clear on what the outcomes are, what we're wanting from it, because otherwise we're just giving it them for free, aren't we? Whereas we're not giving the backgrounds as a free facility to other organisations.
Karen?
So we could probably leave it as sports day and then we can do featuring, mention his name or something. Because then he's bringing about 200 plus people into Ashby, which is
It's great, it's brilliant. I'm not saying it's not, but we need to be really careful about it.
Well, I mean, we had, sealed knots, didn't we?
We did.
Which we paid some money towards, which
Okay,
kind of comparable. I would have, maybe, I don't know. I mean,
okay,
it's going to end up being a mixture. I think it's because it clearly is attractive and it's a bit different, isn't it, to the
Yeah.
run of the mill football, cricket, darts, whatever.
Charles. It's on the background, keep it out of the way of that.
no,
I think you mean
Yeah,
archery.
just to attract people down and then see the other sports events, not make it a,
yeah,
this is a single competition.
No.
Although there is a, as I say, with the sealed knot, there's an analogy. We didn't pay for them to come because it was entertainment.
Yeah.
For people to watch and.
and then that's something we might want to do, but we need to be clear about what we're doing and why we're
Oh,
doing it.
absolutely. Yeah. But I think one of the important things is understanding from the sports clubs
Yeah,
why they weren't there and what they actually want. To some extent, we're putting it on. Partly as entertainment for people coming along, but also to boost the sports club, to help sports clubs. If they don't need any help, then don't do it. And we need to understand what they want. Really.
Yeah.
Okay, Chair, so do you want me to get some feedback from the sports clubs? And then we can put it on as a future agenda item.
I think it's just a while ago,
Sorry,
I
guys.
speak, but I hand it to
can't see you, sorry, Greg.
No, I was hoping to share, but in fact, it's him.
Greg,
Yes. I was going to say, when we started off this project, it's actually to try and encourage people to get involved in sports clubs. And I know 2 sports clubs didn't attend because they got waiting lists, as you said. So that's a big issue. And they're not going to send 4 or 5 volunteers and probably a few kids to hang around all day and then say, sorry, look, our waiting list is full. And sometimes those clubs have particular gaps, if you like, the walking netball or whatever, those sort of things, a niche thing, but they're not going to go there just to advertise that the whole day. And I think it's a big issue that, in fact, their problem is premises. They train in Swaddington. That's where they're.
well, let's not expand it out too much,
Yeah.
but we need to do some sort of survey work to understand what
Yeah.
the need is. How the town council can assist sports clubs. If that's showing them ways to get more people doing it, fine. If it's not, then we need to talk about what else it might be. If it is premises, then we talk about premises. But it's a different discussion and we don't have an event on the park grounds for it. Dammy, you wanted to say?
I was gonna say on the survey, we could suggest if they want to sell their merchandises on the day, just to get them to come down. Maybe to raise money or something.
If there was an income generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever, but then we need to understand what they want to do.
Gather as much data as possible, really.
Yeah, yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah.
How appropriate for a discussion.
I want to see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well planned, Stuart.
Okay, so there needs to be a bit of work done on the sports day, I think, rather than,
Okay,
because it is, according to us, a budget of 5,000.
That's right.
It's not,
Yes.
not insignificant. That's not double anything. Any other comments on the events programme?
I think Chairman, that Jack and Susan seem to develop these strong matches, isn't it? I think it's well worth investigating. Really, the market, and then with it on, and again, it's not, worth spending a bit of time and drag a little bit of money, I don't know. Probably not. I think there's an opportunity there to.
I mean, it could be an event not to do with
On its own.
you know, on its own, or whatever, but it needs investigating, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's stand necessarily on its own. I think it does need other support around it, but I think it rather than being. But you get, like I said earlier, I think it needs to be a central part of your day rather than just a way you get to money.
Yeah.
There is a veteran section, John, if you're interested.
Any other comments? Alison?
Yeah, just to pick up on Stuart's comment about Ashby Festival in the park, I think moving it back to a date, making it more a summer event would be really good. If the diary allows it, because am I right in thinking that last year it was sort of around that time because
Well,
of
it
the,
would be
Same week.
on that May Day bank holiday.
yeah,
And it was, when we were discussing it, I think it was so that it was on a Sunday before bank holiday. We
That's
didn't-
right.
Didn't have to go to work.
Oh, okay.
But it isn't, it's not that sort of festival where people get overindulged. If it's finishing about 6, was it 7?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's more of a family event, so a weekend when it's more likely to be warmer. Never guarantee these things.
you can't, but maybe if you
Might
put
be
it
a
in the
good idea,
summer
but I
month,
don't think it has to be on a bank holiday.
yeah. No, I don't. Okay,
Okay, anything else on events?
thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, I've got to move that, have I?
You have. Somebody has.
I'll move it. Agreed. I'll have to explain to our members of the public, we've actually just decided to go into what's called confidential, which means members of the public can't be here.
That's it.
Sorry,
I'm sorry about that,
And
but
that's all right. So the meeting officially finishes now.
it is.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
that's all right.
yeah,
Okay, then.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good one.
thank you very much for coming along.